But it's sad to see you guys in love with the glitz and glamour of mainstream television and all the rest of it. Look, let me give you a little news flash. I don't even respond now when national media wants me on, okay, because I know it's all hollow. Zombies, brain deads watch that. And I'm now ranting. But you'll understand why I'm ranting, because before the show tonight, I saw these clips. And I've got to say, they are punches to the stomach. Because when you invest in somebody, you end up investing in their camp followers. And you end up investing in people like Jesse Benton. And I was sitting there saying, if Ron Paul doesn't show up to Paul Fest, I'm gonna have to privately rethink who I think that man is. And when he showed up, it was a great thing. But it was also kind of pathetic that they waited to the last minute. They didn't promote it so it wouldn't, overshadow the Republican convention, so Rand could have his speech that nobody watched. I mean, just toadying up to a dying dinosaur Republican Democratic Party is painful. It's painful. I don't even dislike you. It's painful to hear Jesse Benton stuttering and thinking he's this big, awesome political guru when all he did was get Ron Paul to stand down because of the, quote, intimidation of Mitt Romney we're about to cover that one of their own top campaign people has now broken ranks and talked about. And you know why they're breaking ranks and talking about it? Because they know that Jesse Benton and others, to a certain extent, got the Paul camp to sell out for 30 stinking pieces of silver. Ron Paul should have run up against Romney and exposed him. Rand Paul should have continued to be super hardcore. They should have let Romney attack him and owned it and loved it. I don't even see Mitt Romney stickers now anywhere in Texas. And this is so Republican, it'll make your head spin. But instead, we got to listen to all the little know-it-alls that got stars in their eyes about how they're going to be big campaign managers and, run the Campaign for Liberty email list and get hired for other campaigns. All you did, and it's now blowing up in your face, and it makes me sick that this is happening. I mean, when Peter Schiff's coming out because of conscience and exposing that he shouldn't be at Paul Fest, that's a big deal. When, other advisors in her, like Doug Weed, top advisor, says, I think this is wrong. We should have gone after Romney. And it's all Jesse Benton's fault. I mean, my God, this is disgusting. All for the precious, stupid convention that's all teleprompter running a fraud. Okay, I went on a week-long jag about this months ago, and I'm going to stop right now. Let's just move forward for liberty and freedom. But you do have a right to see what happened. So let's go ahead and go to the Republican establishment. Mitt Romney, carbon taxes, semi-auto gun ban supporter, abortion supporter, in his real votes and real action, no child left behind, banker bailout. I keep going here for a couple hours. And then to sit there and be told I'm supposed to worship him. Look, I get Obama's bad. But it's like going to a concert and they got porta potties and they're like, well, you don't want to go in that porta potty. There's a 50 things floating around. But this one only has 49. Let's go dive in that because there's a little better rhetoric from Romney. Actions speak louder than words. Like my grandfather used to say, that's what matters, what you do, the fruits of the tree. And I say this because I don't want a bunch of neocons taking over the skeletal remains of what's left of what the people built, using Ron Paul as a focal point and his credibility. So good job, Ron Paul. Go into that Paul Fest, even though a bunch of nimwits were telling you not to. Dimwit twits. All right, I'm going to stop. I don't want to be mean here. Just want to let the facts speak for themselves. Here is Republicans changing the rules, specifically Rule 16, where if they don't like the delegates elected, they can replace them. The vast majority clearly say, no, we don't want Romney. We want Ron Paul. But you notice the teleprompter in the second clip in live time, it already says that the yeses have it. The yays have it. Here is that clip, and then we'll get to the devastating clips with Peter Schiff and others. Here it is.
The question is on the adoption of the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. We need another chair. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. question is on the adoption of the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no.
Now remember, I told Obama bots that were, Obama. I told you that he was bought and paid for by the globalists and the entire agenda would continue. But they can't get open socialism under a Republican, so they put a Democrat in so they can take the blame. Now they're getting ready to put Romney in because they figure a new face will con you for a few years again. And there you just saw it, the whole thing rigged. Now, this is top Ron Paul advisor Doug Weed saying the Paul campaign did not attack Romney in Michigan because Romney threatened to drop a political A-bomb on the Liberty campaign and ruin Ron Paul's name forever. Well, come on in. Throw me in that briar patch. If you've got somebody that no one will even put bumper stickers up for, who's a joke when it comes to being a constitutionalist, a libertarian, whatever. If you've got this guy over here, and then Ron Paul has been cheated in the first few states like Iowa and Maine, where he did win. I mean, I told you, the Pauls just got intimidated. They got hammered down. They had people inside their camp. I told you this at the time, that told them stand down and go along with it. And I tell you, it's a total cop-out. I mean, I would lose my integrity if I didn't tell you what I really thought about this. But here it is, Doug Weed. Mitt Romney threatened you. How about Ron Paul drop an atomic bomb on him for abortion, carbon taxes, gun control, legalizing illegal aliens? I mean, the list goes on and on. So instead, all this love affair, patty cake stuff, and they dangled out to the Pauls, oh, you could be Vice President to Rand. Just the art of rope-a-dope. And again, the starry-eyed, you know, little advisors married to the granddaughter. Oh, I'm going to be a big star. You're going to, I predict something. I mean, you'll do well with the whole Ron Paul list and all that, but, you know, the whole campaign list and the contributors, but you're not going anywhere. They don't trust you. They don't trust somebody that basically worked with others from inside a campaign. And again, I just got to say it. I mean, Jesse Benton is a disgrace. He really is a disgrace. You know, I'm not going to sit here like a schmuck or a sucker or a dupe or a mark or an idiot and not say it. So as far as I'm concerned, Jesse Benton, there aren't words to describe what you've done. In fact, speaking of that, let's go ahead and go to the Doug Weed clip, and then we've got Peter Schiff with the text message from Mr. Benton. Here it is.
Disconnect was over our inability to and our decision not to attack Mitt Romney going into Michigan. That's the basis of all of it. And I favored us going after Mitt Romney. I wanted to go after him like crazy. The argument against going after Mitt Romney was that he had a tremendous amount of money. And he threatened to drop an A-bomb on us. He threatened to destroy forever the name Ron Paul by producing commercials that would, and advertising that would destroy his name and reputation. And that was the argument in favor of, if he's already won the nomination, which our numbers told us he had.
And again, I'm the bad guy for being upset by this. I mean, here we are learning how they basically stood down. That's just, while give us money, and I'm like, well, we'll get the Liberty Movement's message out. And then I've known all along, I never talked about it on air because I don't want to infight, that Jesse Benton's like, don't go on this show, don't go on that show, you know, being overruled by Ron Paul to come on my show. When Ron Paul got a lot more out of my giant audience than I got out of him, my listenership didn't even go up when Ron Paul was on. I mean, I could go sell out and support the New World Order to be put on 600 radio stations. I was offered that a decade ago. I just don't get falling down to the power structure immediately and, you know, begging. And here is the clip of clips. Here we have, you know, the fund manager, Peter Schiff, to his credit, I want to try to get him on next week, coming out and going, yeah, here's Jesse Benton saying don't come to Paul Fest. I mean, Paul Fest, just a bunch of families and people wanting to say, hey, we support what you say, Ron Paul. But because, oh no, Jesse needs to be a big star at the RNC with all those mummies, well, we can't. Peter, don't go to that. But Ron Paul showed up, didn't he? Didn't do a lot of promotion because they didn't want it to overshadow the precious RNC, but understood it would just turn down and make feel bad all these people that believed in you with their starry eyes. So Ron Paul had the cake and ate it too. He didn't promote it, but he did show up. And I guess Jesse Benton didn't get the memo because he's like, don't you go speak at that because it's a fringe. What's the exact quote? Peter Schiff reading a text he got from Jesse Benton about how the grassroots Paul Fest was fringe and the Paul campaign would not participate. Well, according to Jesse Benton, Ron Paul's fringe because he came and spoke at it. Now I wish I would have gone to see this. My God, I don't like the New World Order, but my God, people in our camp that engage in this type of Machiavellian scurrying, the chickens are going to come home because your own people are not going to morally go along with this. That's all I can say. Here it is.
That's the only thing is what I got from Jesse. You might want to reconsider Paul Fest. I think it's bad news. Why aren't you guys involved? I wrote that bad people organizing a big fringe element. You're hoping the event goes away. That's last I heard.
Yeah, that, I mean, we got a bad rap the whole way along. I mean,
you know, I didn't even really follow Paul Fest very much once it launched. Peter did speak there, didn't he? Yeah, so he did speak there. So good for him. I mean, don't go there. Bad people, very fringe, really like Ron Paul. I mean, it was like 10,000 people, a lot of them that were poor, that traveled all over the country to go support Ron Paul. Man, I am trying my best not to go after Jesse Benton, but I tell you what, he asked for it, man. He is asking for it. Whoa! But good for Ron Paul and good for Peter Schiff. I'm done. Tell me what you think in the comments below here at INFOWARS.com and PRISONPLANET.com. This is a major, major, major scandal, in my humble opinion. Okay, let's go ahead and move on from that. It is time to move beyond that and what's going on. We're going to talk about this coming up with Mr. Moreno of Climate Depot. Michael Mann's lawsuit against National Review is on for saying that his hockey stick graph is incorrect. So that's part of a new campaign of intimidation against the First Amendment. We're going to be discussing that more coming up and some more of those important documents here in my other list of news that we have this evening. New blockbuster paper finds man-made CO2 is not driving global warming, published today in Global and Planetary Change, finds changes in CO2 follow rather than lead global air surface temperatures. And continuing, we'll talk about this after the break, bye-bye American SUVs, Obama just killed them via EPA, who needs Congress? And accused U.S. spy crucified for placing drone sensors in Yemen. And you notice that the mainstream corporate media has not covered this.